Radio Sports Network, broadcasting live and in living color from inside the Gates Gymnasium, high above Mike Lightfoot Court at the Wycamp Center in Mishawaka, Indiana. Glad you can join us here for Crossroads League Volleyball today. My name is Paul Condry, along with Tanya Condry with all the details. The Hall of Famer Matt Copsey hanging out with me on a beautiful afternoon in Michiana. That football team that calls itself home here to Michiana is in town. So we won't have the big crowd that we've had the last couple times here inside the Gates Gymnasium. Notre Dame matched up against New Mexico tonight. But Huntington University, fresh off an important win last night against the Goshen College Maple Leafs at Goshen under the direction of first-year head coach Kelsey Herber. 7-6 overall, and her club certainly she has to feel very, very good with where they are at now. 1-2 in league play, taking on Katie Weiss's young Bethel University Pilots. Pilots at 5-11. They are 0-3, really struggling here as of late, Matt. And one thing about it, when you look at this this Pilot team, lost their last four, and probably the most difficult thing for Katie is the fact that they've lost their last 8 straight Crossroads League matches.
Yeah, and this is a frustrating thing is when you're trying to establish a program. I had a chance to see Bethel when they played Concordia earlier in the year, and that was the first match of the year. And, you know, you're trying to iron out all the details, but now they're 16, 17 matches into the season. You would think that a lot of these little details that they're still trying to get hammered out and ironed out are still going that way. And, you know, last night in the loss to Grace, you know, they got off to a slow start. You know, they lost 25-13, but then they battled back 25-23 in the last two. So, you know, Peyton Hart had 10 kills and 8 digs. Madison Beaver had 25 assists, and Bridget Downs with 14 digs. I think, Paul, they just need to find some consistency. You know, it just seems like they get off the slow starts and they're having to dig themselves out of a hole. So maybe if they can get off to a good start today, that'll bode well for the Pilots this afternoon.
Well, one thing that has not been to the Pilots' advantage is the fact that they played 8 teams with winning records. At this stage of the year, they're 0-8 against those teams, and 4 of those teams are in the most recent NAIA top 25 plus the receiving votes poll. So they played a very, very formidable schedule so far this season. If you look at Huntington's side of the coin, they started out like gangbusters. They won 5 of their first 6. However, they have lost 5 of their last 7 matches. And, of course, they played 7 teams with winning records. And Huntington is 3-4 against winning clubs. However, they have not played any teams ranked in the top 25, so the Bethel schedule may be a little bit more formidable. But once again, a win is a win. You got to go out and win games against winning teams, losing teams. But the strength of schedule, I think, at some point in time is going to help this very, very young Bethel team kind of sort out some of the details. And when you look at this matchup here today, we have a young first-year head coach, Kelsey Herber, who grew up in the Huntington program. Of course, it was a program led by previous head coach Kyle Shondell, who was there for 4 seasons. A year ago, Matt, they won 10 matches. They already have 7 wins, so Kelsey off to a really good start in the early stages of her career. They were 6-12 in league play last year. They struggled away from the friendly confines of the old pole barn at Huntington University. They were 1-12 away from home and 2-7 in neutral court situations. So a win last night at Goshen has to give them a lot of confidence. If they can come back here and pick up a win, certainly would give this Huntington team a lot of confidence.
Yeah, they went 5 last night, winning 15-11 in the final one. Paige Eckwright with 25 kills. Ariane Butler with 31 digs. They're getting good production. As you mentioned, they're going through those ups and downs with the first-year head coach, just like what Katie did when she first started. Like you mentioned, Paul, I think the fact that Bethel's played the better schedule, they're at home. You know, they were on the road last night, so they got a chance to sleep in their own beds last night, while Huntington probably over at Goshen, I would imagine they probably went home and came back. But still, you know, when you go back and forth on that bus a couple times, it kind of takes its toll, and they're playing their second match in less than 24 hours.
Kelsey Herber is the first-year head coach. I spent some time with her just moments ago and filed this report. Crossroads League Volleyball here today from Bethel University, the Huntington University of Foresters in town. First-year head coach Kelsey Herbert joining us here on the pregame show. Kelsey, first of all, I know you were part of this program as an assistant coach the last couple seasons under Kyle. Give us an idea what things you've learned already from being in that second seat. Now you're in that first seat.
Absolutely. I'll tell you one thing. The first thing that comes to mind is after our first loss of the season, I told my dad and I told my husband, I hate losing as a coach more than I did as a player or even an assistant coach. So that's one thing I'm learning about myself from the get-go.
When you look at the whole process of taking over, sometimes there's massive changes. I'm going to change my offense, my defense. I'm going to change the way we do everything. Some coaches feel that, hey, listen, I'm just going to leave it as is. So tell us what you did.
So in regards to our defense, actually, that is something we switched up this year. My assistant coach, Josh Kreiner, he's a defensive guru. So he had some ideas of what he thought could really help us in that area, just a couple tweaks from what we did last year. And those changes, I truly believe, have taken our defense to the next level, which is really neat to see.
What about the overall direction of the program as itself? Everything else kind of still business as usual?
The biggest thing that I wanted to implement coming in right away was I want my players to feel loved, I want them to feel valued, and I want them to play fearlessly. I don't want us ever stepping on the floor fearing making a mistake or trying to play it safe. So that is something that I've tried to, say over and over again. That way they can really take it to heart. But I would say those are the biggest just the biggest concepts I've wanted to implement from the beginning.
It's really interesting. I've been doing this broadcasting for 31 years, and it's interesting when you hear a female coach taking over for a male coach on how their mindset is. And conversely, the other way around, it is sometimes very, very interesting. And once again, I don't know if that's a gender-based thing, but sometimes I think guys are inherently tougher and hard-nosed. Maybe they don't connect emotionally with female athletes. What's your take on that?
One thing that I heard once was a coach talked about how if you're coaching a practice and you have a team full of guys and the coach starts saying, hey, we have some people doing this and this, we really need to improve in this area. If you're talking to a group of guys, I've heard all the guys are going to think you're talking about the other guy. You're not talking about them. But if you have a group of girls that you're talking to, they're all going to assume you are pointing them out at that moment. And so I think one big takeaway just in terms of coaching girls and being a female myself is I know how important it is that they need to hear what they're doing well. They need to be encouraged, and at the end of the day, they need to know their coach cares about them as a person and not just a player. And that also goes for teammates. They need to know that that girl next to them knows their heart, loves them, and that they can trust them, because that transfers onto the court.
You're really fortunate because you're in the same building, if you will, with one of the greatest coaches in the history of NAI sports. And Lori Keller is just an amazing ambassador for all of women's athletics. Can you speak to her influence in your career?
I want to be Lori Keller when I grow up. It is as simple as that. I mean, I look at the fact that she's Huntington through and through. She played there herself, went right into coaching, and now has had this extremely successful career. And that is what I want to do as well. I tell people all the time, I don't view this as a stepping stone in my career. I view it as the finish line. I would love to both start my coaching career and end it here. I love Huntington and how it's poured into me. And so I want to be able to give back, to a place that's really played an important role in my life.
Last night, tough road to hoe. You were able to eke out a 3-2 win at Goshen. What were you happy about the performance of your teams last night at the game against Maple Leafs?
Well, last night was a roller coaster ride. Let me tell you, we had the two sets we lost were pretty rough sets for us. But before the match, one of my freshmen gave a devotional, Anna Lewis, and she said, God cares much more about how we respond to a mistake rather than the mistake itself. So she talked about this idea of flushing our mistakes, literally flushing mistakes down the toilet. And so when we got out there and we had a really rough second set, I looked at the girls and I said, you know what? Flush it. Let's flush that set. Let's move on. And they came out and they played extremely well in the third set. fourth set rolled around, we did the same thing and just had to say, you know what? Flush it. Let's go into the fifth set knowing we're going to win. And I was so proud of the way that they played in that fifth set and how aggressive they were and confident that they were going to take it.
What concerns you about Katie Weiss's club here today?
I would say ultimately I respect Katie so much as a coach that I know that she's going to be constantly giving them positive feedback and how to make adjustments. And so I think that's something we have to come in being aware today is if one thing is working for us, they're going to make those adjustments, and we've got to be ready to adjust ourselves to what then they give us afterward. So I know that's one thing that they're going to bring. They always bring energy to the floor, especially being on their home court. And so I think we have to know, our squad has to know, we've got to come out with that energy and communication from the beginning.
Well, you're off to a great start. 7 wins already last year with only 10. So you're off to a really great career. Congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
The last thing you want to do is to leave their bedside.
If we had to leave the hospital at any time, it would have drove us nuts.
The family room was definitely a blessing for us. We needed to be close to our daughter, and it gave us exactly what we needed at that time.
Make a difference in the life of a family when they need it most. Give to the Ronald McDonald House at Memorial Children's Hospital in South Bend. Donate to our new house at loveshinethrough.org.
Crossroads League Volleyball here today from Bethel University, the Huntington University of Foresters in town. First-year head coach Kelsey Herbert joining us here on the pregame show. Kelsey, first of all, I know you were part of this program. Is Crossroads League Volleyball today here from Bethel University. Paul Condrey and Katie Weiss hanging out prior to today's matchup against the Huntington University Foresters. Both teams were in action last night, one of these rare Fridays, Saturday gigs. The Foresters of the big 3-2 win at Goshen. Pilots lost 3-0 at Grace. Katie, let's just talk candidly about the team's performance at Grace. I read your quote in the press release last night, and while I was doing football, it doesn't seem like you were the happy camper in the campground. But moving forward, what can you glean from this?
Well, we definitely, it's glaringly obvious what we need to fix, and it's just a matter of our athletes fixing those things and just kind of getting a little bit tougher skin to fight even when we're down and to start strong when we're away. And so again, I think that is a reflection of youth, but these girls, they want to win, they want to compete, and I know that we'll get there.
When you talk about the difference between mental errors and technical errors, or is it a combination of a mixture of both where you're at right now with this young group?
Sometimes it's both, but the majority are mental errors, just mistakes that we shouldn't be making. Some of it, technical errors would be maybe I would consider an athlete that's just doing the wrong thing consistently. Maybe their form or their foundation isn't good on, maybe attacking their footwork or something like that. And really, I just think these are mental errors. We've got some great athletes on our team, and we've just got to take care of the ball.
All right, let's turn our attention to Huntington University. Kelsey Herbert's the first-year coach now. Obviously, Kyle Shondell, his system may be different, may not be different. You're going to need to tell me all the dynamics, but make no mistake about it, you got to keep an eye on some pretty special people in this lineup. The Butler gal has had a great career. Just recently went over the 1,000 digs plateau a few weeks ago. So let's just talk about your concern with the Foresters. Is Kelsey doing the same system?
I don't think so. I think she's changing some things, which I think is great, but not enough to be, completely different. And so I think she's developed a great relationship with these girls the last 2 years as she was Kyle's assistant, and I think she's going to do a great job continuing to build where he left off.
You've been in that position where you were the assistant coach and then took over as the head coach. What challenges is that for the new head coach once you've been that assistant?
Well, I don't know everyone else's situation, but I know mine has been very challenging to, I came in after just 1 year and not having college experience before. And so, I feel like I've had to really figure things out on the fly and as I've gone along. And I feel like I'm in a great place in year 3. But this, that's a long time to figure things out. And would I like to have success sooner? Yes. Is this year going the way I want it to? No. But we have a lot of great things in place. There are so many behind the scene things that are happening that are just beautiful. But we're not winning games yet.
Looking over here your shoulder, and I'm looking at the personal growth challenges. Those are things that we don't talk about on the broadcast. We talk about wins, losses, streaks, statistics, and all that type of stuff. Do you glean a lot of positives when you see the spiritual and the dynamic of the team growth?
Oh, absolutely. I think that the spiritual culture on our team is stronger than it's ever been. And these girls have a deep desire to play for each other and to work hard. They definitely don't lack the ethic. Right now, it's just a follow through. They work really tough. They're tough girls. And so they want this for each other. And I think, that's a really healthy, beautiful thing. We just have to turn that over into some wins.
All right, let's turn our attention to the mindset of playing another match. Volleyball is so different than other sports because sometimes you guys play up to 4 matches a day. So I don't think it's going to be a situation where you're going to be fatigued in any capacity. But talk about getting yourself mentally ready after a disappointing, you had to drive home, all that kind of stuff, and got to get focused on a beautiful day when a lot of people are out doing football, tailgating, and all those other things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that the mental aspect of the Friday-Saturday game is the toughest, just for me, even being able to turn around, switch off what happened last night and turn on, today. That's a challenge, and especially when you're on a loss. If last night would have been a big win, I think it would have been easier. But right now, my goal as a coach is, I need to coach them like they've never lost, and I need them to play like they've never lost a game because, you can get in these situations where you wear your losses and then you're not going to get anywhere. And so that's our goal today, is just to forget what's behind and strive for what's ahead.
Best of luck today, Coach.
Thank you.
Once again, after some interesting dynamics by the lead sportscaster here, dropping the ball. That was Katie Weiss. We were going to try to I was so excited about the interview with Kelsey Herbert that I thought I was going to play it twice. Glad you can join us here nonetheless, here from Bethel University. Paul Condry along with Bethel graduate Matt Copsey, the Hall of Fame sports writer and member of our regional radio sports team. Tanya County with all the details. Taking a look at the Crossroads League standings coming into this afternoon's Saturday match. Indiana Wesleyan off and running, 14-0, ranked 4th in the country, 3-0. And they have been dynamic thus far this year. St. Francis also 3-0 in league play, 11-4 overall. Taylor University also a perfect 3-0 on the season and 12-7 overall. Marion, which was swept last night by Indiana Wesleyan, is ranked 22nd. They're 2-1 in league play and 11-1 overall. And Mount Vernon, who's 12-2 overall, is 2-1 in league play. So that's your top 5 teams right there. Huntington and Grace both at 1-2 in league play. Huntington at 7-6, Grace at 5-9. And then 3 teams have yet to win a league game. They would be Spring Arbor, Goshen, and Bethel. Spring Arbor overall 4-4. Goshen 5-10, and the Pilots at 5-11. Games going on in the league today. Mount Vernon is at Spring Arbor. Grace is at Goshen. And Taylor is at St. Francis. And, of course, last night Taylor beat Spring Arbor 3-1. St. Francis a 3-0 win at home against Mount Vernon. Huntington a 3-2 winner at Goshen. Grace swept Bethel down in Winona Lake. And Indiana Wesleyan just absolutely took 22-ranked Marion to school, 25-16, 25-16, and 25-19. Matt, that's like a 4-touchdown win in football. When you get beat that bad, it's you got some problems at hand.
Well, Indiana Wesleyan's playing with a lot of emotion, intensity, and a lot of confidence right now. So that's one thing in terms of Bethel. I thought Katie Weiss made the perfect thing. You got to put last night behind and move forward, just like Kelsey Herbert said. All
right, let's take a look at the dynamics here today. Our officials in today's match, certainly we want to thank them for their support of education-based athletics. Terry Miller, he'll be up along the tower, if you will. Gretchen Galloway, a Michigan native, is going to be down here along the scorer's bench. Diane Morris from Gobles, Michigan will be one of the line judges, and Mark Bailey from Kokomo making the long drive up. So those guys and gals will be calling everything the way Matt and I see them naturally. We're going to go down to Andrew Bowen for the opening prayer and the opening announcements.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Good afternoon and welcome to the Gates Gymnasium in the Y Camp Athletic Center on the campus of Bethel University for today's matchup between the Huntington University Foresters and your Bethel University Pilots. Bethel University welcomes all players, officials, and spectators to today's game. As participants in the NAIA's Champions of Character initiative, we ask each of you to help create a positive, competitive environment by showing respect for one another. On behalf of the Crossroads League and Bethel University, please enjoy today's game. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please stand and gentlemen kindly remove your caps for the contest's opening prayer. Lord, thank you for the opportunity that we have to honor you through the game of volleyball. We ask you to protect the players as they compete, keep them free from injury, and help them to display their talents in a way that honors you. Help us all to encourage and cheer with proper perspective in mind. Thank you for what you are doing and what you have done in our lives. It's in your name we pray. Amen. We ask that you remain standing as we honor America and those who serve and protect it with the playing of our national anthem. Now, let's introduce the starters. First, for the visitors from Huntington. For the non-starters, number 2, Megan Horton. Number 8, Elaine Breedensteiner. Number 9, Josephine Rommel. Number 10, Bree Metz. Number 11, Hannah Meyer. Number 14, Brandy Mitchie. Number 15, Anna Lewis. And number 20, Gabby Hall. Now for the starters. Number 1, Taya Bynum. Number 3, Laura Nagel. Number 4, Jennings Stakosik. Number 5, Lindsay Ingenito. Number 13, Nicole Flickinger. Number 16, Paige Eckrite. And the libero is number 12, Ariane Butler. The Foresters are coached by Kelsey Erber in her first season and assisted by Josh Kreiner, Dave Schroeder, and Cassie Kyle. Now for your pilots. The non-starters, number 2, Kennedy Kintz. Number 4, Rachel Vendel. Number 12, Isabel North. Number 13, Mackenzie Williams. Number 14, Kelsey Fiedema. Number 15, Hannah Dole. Number 17, Shaylin Bowman. And number 18, Megan Hosinski. And now for the starters. Number 1, Kelsey Grusdove. Number 6, Peyton Hart. Number 8, Sue Vandegrift. Number 9, Abby Arnold. Number 10, Madison Beaver. Number 16, AJ McDonald. And the libero is number 11, Bridget Downs. The pilots are coached by Katie Weiss in her third season, assisted by Lisa DeJesus, Hannah Curtis, and Kristen Mitchell.
There are all the details. A solid job for Andrew Bowen as the man down along the bench. And glad you can join us here today. Huntington University decked out in the white jerseys, the dark green numbers trimmed in black. They have the gray sleeves and along the shoulders. The Pilots decked out in the all-white jerseys, the very dark blue numbers, and of course both teams wearing the black shorts respectively. Bethel will be on the left side of your screen to start the match. Huntington will be on the right side of the screen. Once again, Bethel 5-11. Overall 0-3 in the Crossroads League. They're 1-1 here at home. Huntington 7-6 overall, 1-2 in the Crossroads League. Glad you can join us here today for Crossroads League Volleyball. The Pilots just sneak ahead past this one. They'll be taking on Spring Arbor, and that game will be coming up this next week. You can join us for all the details. Once again, we're going to get a chance to see two of the best liberos in all of the Crossroads League here today with Butler and Downs, respectively, for Huntington and Bethel. As we're glad that you can join us here as we're ready to get underway. Thanks for being a part of our broadcast here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Mishawaka, Indiana. And to get the party started, we're underway here from the Gates Gymnasium. Here's McDonald coming away with a kill, and Bethel with an early 1-0 lead. And the Pilots will have an opportunity served now. Rachel Vendel, the 5'6" Frosh who prepped at Valparaiso High School, punches one, and a service error. Matt, last night at Grace, the Pilots had 9 service errors, which were all costly. And that's exactly not where they wanted to be right there. We're tied 1-1.
No, those are called empty possessions.
And now Huntington will come back. Here's Downs keeping the ball alive. A little dink play here. Nicely done by Abby Arnold. Here's one diving save along the far side. They're setting up the big play here. Diving play kept alive. Up the elevator shaft it goes. And this one ricochets off the hands of Rachel Vendel. And Huntington has a 2-1 lead as they scored the last 2 unanswered.
Paige Eckwright serving for the Forsters.
Eckwright will put the ball in play. Here's the pass to the near side. McDonald. Nice dig along the back line. Hart over here to the near side, setting up McDonald. This one ricochets to the back line. Back up front. This one goes out. Oh, my. Bridget Downs, I am agreeing with her. That ball was out. 3-1 Huntington here in the early stages. Elaine Brindensteiner will punch one. It's played by Downs along the back line. Setting up Hart. Hart tries to go cross court, missed the shot. 4-1 Huntington. 4 unanswered for the Foresters. Elaine Brindensteiner, product of Westfield High School, 5'9" senior, playing in her 47th game of the year. And this one is and Katie Weiss could take a timeout right here, and I think that she'd be well thought of to do so. She wants to stop the bleeding here immediately. 5-1 Foresters. We'll take a quick timeout and come back with more after this.
But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines. A tough and determined few dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still, they come. Celebrate the history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
Paul Cadre along with Matt Copsey. Glad you can join us here from Bethel University in Mishawaka, Indiana. We saw this last night with the Pilots, Matt, where the Pilots came out of the chute just dead in the water, and the same thing has happened here in this first game.
Well, it seems that service error kind of like sucked the life out of them in the sense that they haven't played very well these last few possessions here. They need a good timeout by Coach Weiss to kind of get them refocused.
Arnold, Beaver, and McDonald along that front line for Bethel. As once again, Elaine Brindensteiner will serve. She's got 19 aces now on the campaign to go along with her 23 digs, 2 kills, and 6 assists coming into today's action. She dribbles it back here, and now she'll go with the jump serve. And it's played on the far side by Peyton Hart. And the Pilots, very importantly, score coming out of the timeout. And it's now 5-2 Huntington University. Breen-Steiner checks out of the game, and back into the contest will be the talented Arian Butler. Butler, who prepped at Huntington North High School, didn't have to go too far to college, just a couple blocks, if you will. And Abby Arnold with the serve. Tries to go along the near sideline, couldn't get it to go. And the second service error of the game, that makes it 6-2 HU. And now to serve for Huntington University will be Jennings Takasik, a 5'9 junior who prepped at Lakewood Park Christian. And just like that, now the lead balloons to 7-2. The Pilots have done 0 things right here in the early stages, Matt.
Well, A.J. McDonald had that kill to start the match. You thought momentum, and then, like I said, the service error there by Huntington will make it a 7-3, and the Pilots will regain service.
Checking into the game now for Katie Weiss' squad will be Mackenzie Williams, a 5'7 junior who did her prep work over in Elkhart County, went to Memorial High School. And she'll come up with the running right-handed serve. Will be played along the back line by Eckrite. And the Pilots are going to be able to secure the point and have closed the Huntington advantage to 7-4 Huntington. And once again, another service opportunity for BU. Number 13 comes up, punches one cross court, and Eckrite is there again. They're setting up a big kill in the middle, and that one's hammered home. And it's now 8-4, Huntington University. Up on that front line right now, Taya Bynum, product of Indianapolis North Central High School. Jumped up there with Anna Lewis, a young lady who was homeschooled, and also Brandy Mickey. And Huntington continues its dominance in the early stages. Now they've upped the ante to 9-4 HU. Here's the serve again for Eckrite. Bethel having all kinds of communication problems, and they send one wide. Katie looking over here to Kristen Mitchell on the sideline asking, what can we do here? Her club asleep at the switch, down 10-4 to start the match. There's a pass over here into the middle, ball hit long again on the play by Sue Vandegrift. It's now 11-4.
Seems like Bethel has a lot of confusion around the net here in the early going. 4 points in a row for the Forsters.
There's a serve going long, and let's put this in perspective now, Matt. It's 11-5, and 2 of the Pilots' points has become service errors by the Foresters.
Well, and the Pilots had one ace of their own by Mackenzie Williams.
Here's one dug off the shoot top by Eckrite and kept alive, and now Bethel will come back on the attack. Here's a pass to the right side. Oh, what a block on the far side by Anna Lewis. Huntington back on the attack. Butler with a pass over here to the near side. This one goes long off the hands of Brandy Mickey, the former LaPorte Slicer, and it's now an 11-6 game here in the first set of the match, and that's the first time the Pilots have answered 2 consecutive points back-to-back. Huntington will put one home along the far side to jump back in front 12-6 as that one was hammered by Anna Lewis. 12-6. Lewis, well, she can elevate at 6'1" over there on the far, or 6 foot tall, excuse me. Butler on the serve. They're playing. Oh, nice little dink opportunity here for Maddie Beaver. And that makes it a 12-7 game. And now the Pilots, Bridget Downs to serve. There's a pass over to the right side. This one deflected at the front of the net by Kelsey Grezdov. She couldn't shut the door, and it's now 13-7, Huntington University. And the Foresters again to serve, Matt, here, this time in the person of Josephine Rammel, another young lady from the volleyball capital of the world in Indiana, from Delaware County. Pilots were able to score there, now making it 13-18. Rammel, a product of Muncie Central High School.
Yeah, that's Delaware County. That's where they're all at.
Laura Nagel checks it back into the game now for Josephine Rammel for Huntington University. She'll go on that back line as Bethel will serve from Madison Beaver. Beaver sends it over here to the near sideline. They're setting up the play here. This one is going to be a point as hammering it home was Brandy Mickey, the former slicer. That catapults the visitors' lead to 14-8. And now to serve again for HU will be Nicole Fickinger, who went, and here's one. Oh, a nice redirect to keep it alive at the net. They're setting up Abby Armold. Right up the elevator. Takasik was the young lady who handled that one. This one goes long, and the Pilots are able to score the point. Huntington was asking for a deflection. That wasn't going to be the case, and now to come in to serve for Bethel will be Rachel Vendel. Vendel to serve from the left side to the right side. Jump serve, punches it with the right hand, played along the back line. Now they attack to the front. This one blocked. Armold was there along with Peyton Hart, and Bethel has closed the gap to 14-10. Matt, correct me if I'm wrong. Biggest lead was it 7?
Yes, 11-4.
And now the Pilots have narrowed that down to 4. Here's an ace for the Pilots. That makes it 14-11. There's and a timeout as the ace for Rachel Vendel. That is her 10th of the year. And now Huntington University will take a quick timeout. Kelsey Herbert will sort out the dynamics that she doesn't like, and we'll take a quick timeout. Hi, this is Paul Condry of the Regional Radio Sports Network. That may be my professional title, but did you know that I'm also the son of a U.S. Navy World War II veteran and the proud father of a United States Marine? Let me share with you something very close to my heart. It's called the Semper Fi Fund and its program America's Fund, which provides immediate lifetime support for post-9/11 wounded, critically ill, and injured members of the U.S. Armed Forces, veterans, and their families to ease recovery and transition back home to their communities. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. The basic idea that drives these efforts is simple. For as much as our heroes have sacrificed, they deserve the best care and support available in their hour of need, whenever it may occur. The Semper Fi Fund, a 4-star charity and an A+ rating, has served over 16,000 members since 2004. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. For more information, visit them online at www.semperfifund.org. Welcome back here to Bethel University. Paul Condry along with Matt Copsey. After the Huntington University timeout, Bethel will try to go to the serve again with Rachel Vendel. Vendel sends one up the elevator shaft. Downs with the pass to the far side. Hart sends it into the center of the court. A diving play by Downs to no avail on the nice hit on the far side by Jennings Takasik. It's now 15-11 Taylor University, or check that, Huntington University. Taylor, I might add, is at St. Francis today in a really, really important game. And both those teams have yet to lose a Crossroads League match. Here's a service error for Huntington. That makes it 15-12. As poorly as the Pilots have played, Matt.
Yeah, they're right in
it.
They're right in it. If they can string together a couple of rallies here, they can get themselves right back into this one.
Hannah Marie Dahl on the serve. And here's a nice little play on the hook shot, if you will. Let's make it at 16-12. Congratulations go out to Bethel University assistant coach Mark Paulsgrove. Him and his wife got married this weekend. Congratulations to them. Jennings Takasik on the serve. And that one just over the tape. Diving play kept nicely alive by Beaver. Here's one deflecting off a Forrester. And the Pilots with the point there close the gap to 3 at 16-13 here in game number 1 of the match. And now to serve again will be Mackenzie Williams. Williams goes to the back line, played there by Ekray. Here's a big block at the point of attack by the Pilots to no avail is Taya Byam, the freshman. came into today's action with 41 kills. Give her another one there. That's now 17-13 HU. You take away the sluggish start, and it's been pretty even in the last 10 minutes or so. Here's Butler with a pass. This one goes off the tape and ricochets to the back line. Now they're setting up Hart, and Hart is hammered as the block was set up there nicely by Anna Lewis and Taya Byam, and it's now 18-13 Huntington. They knew exactly where Hart was going to go that time. That could have been here is a big kill on the far side by Lewis again. I've been really impressed with Lewis. 19-13 as a timeout for Bethel. Katie Weiss wants to talk it over. This is her last timeout of this game. We'll be back with more right after this.
Discover better banking at Teachers Credit Union. More than 300,000 already have. They know better banking means better rates on savings, loans, and mortgages, and being treated like more than a number. At TCU, you don't have to be a teacher to enjoy better banking, just someone who enjoys personal attention and solid financial solutions. Go to tcunet.com/betterbanking to learn more. TCU, better rates, better service, better banking. Teachers Credit Union deposits are federally insured by the NCUA, and we're an equal housing opportunity. NMLS number 686706.
Manage your money like a pro with TCU. You can score big with the TCU Debit MasterCard that gives you cash back on everyday purchases. Plus, you'll win with access to hundreds of free ATMs across Indiana. Check out TCU's starting lineup of services to help you manage your cash and build your savings. Visit TCUnet.com to kick off your better banking experience. See TCU Debit MasterCard terms and conditions for details. Alliance One and Co-op.
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. Paul Condry along with Matt Copsey. It's over in Bloomington, Indiana. A 51-10 shellacking to the Ohio State University Buckeyes. Right now, it's 19-13. Here's a little left-handed redirect by Madison Beaver for a score. It makes it 19-14 as the Pilots score coming out of the timeout. Checking out of the game now will be Rachel Vindel. And now to serve will be the talented Peyton Hart. Hart played along by Butler along the back line. And they're going to say that was in the net for Taya Byam. And it's now 19-15 Huntington. Andrew Bone, not a happy camper with the Hoosiers getting beat by 41 today. Wasn't a pretty sight in Bloomington today. Here's a point for the visitors, making it 20-15. They just have not been able to get over the hump and recover from the 5-1 start. There's a pass to the front line. Oh, nice little redirect again by Maddie Beaver. And that makes it 20-16. That's what we saw a lot from Peyton Anderson last year, who graduated, and Bridget Downs on the serve for the Pilots. Over to the far side, Huntington tries to come back. Nice diving play by Peyton Hart to keep it alive. This one goes to the back line. Butler with the save. Abby Arnold with the two-hand play at the net, and they're going to say Jennings Takasik was in the net, and the Pilots are within 3 at 20-17.
Yeah, they got within 3 at 16-13, and then they ran Huntington ran off 3 in a row.
The Kentucky native Downs on the serve. As Huntington comes back, Hart with the play, ball deflected, and they're going to say they're going to say the Pilots were over the line, and it's going to be a point for the visitors. That makes it 21-17, but once again, Matt, they get within 3.
Yep.
And got to get over that hump there.
There's little mistakes around the net.
Now to serve will be Josephine Rammel, the former Bearcat from Muncie Central. Nice play by Arnold to keep that one alive. This one goes long off the hit from Paige Eckrite. Pilots once again within 3 at 21-18. Huntington here in game number 1. To serve for Bethel will be Madison Beaver, the 6'1 sophomore, who came into today leading the club with 359 assists for number 10. Here's a pass to the far side. Big hit. Downs just tried to protect herself on the big kill there. Wow. Powerful play. Now it makes it 22-18. And now with an opportunity to knock the Pilots out will be Nicole Flickinger, who grew up here locally and went to nearby Northwood High School. Here's McDonald keeping one alive on a redirect. And just like that, it's now 23-18. Pilots are on the ropes here in the first game of the match. And again to serve will be Flickinger. Jump serve. Hart with the dig. And here's McDonald. Played nicely by Flickinger. No, and it ricochets off to the right. It's now 23-19. Huntington here in game one.
McDonald been very quiet. That's only her second kill. She got one to start to give Bethel the 1-0 lead, and they've trailed since.
She came into today's game with 89 kills. There's a spinning serve. Butler sends it up the elevator shaft. They're setting up Abby Arnold. Nope, they're going to go to McDonald. Played along the far back by Laura Nagel. This ball flecked and went home as it was Paige Eckwright, making it 24-19. So Huntington will be serving for game number one of the match here at Bethel University. And now to serve will be Elaine Bredensteiner. She punches it with the right hand. Downs plays it along the back line. Here's a pass to the far side. Hart. Oh, a great play to keep it alive by Nagel. Far side, it's McDonald. And the Foresters win game one, 25-19. So the slow start hampers the Pilots' opportunities to come back. We'll be back with more Bethel University volleyball right after this on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
When your child's in the hospital, the last thing you want to do is to leave their bedside.
If we had to leave the hospital at any time, it would have drove us nuts.
The family room was definitely a blessing for us. We needed to be close to our daughter, and it gave us exactly what we needed at that time.
Make a difference in the life of a family when they need it most. Give to the Ronald McDonald House at Memorial Children's Hospital in South Bend. Donate to our new house at loveshinethrough.org.
They were outnumbered, out-equipped. They had no chance of winning, but they had one huge advantage: General George Washington.
The fate of unborn millions will now depend, under God, on the courage and conduct of this army. We have to resolve to conquer or die.
Just as the leadership of one man helped form a nation, today leadership can transform the world. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. Paul Condry along with Matt Copsey. Game number one is in the books as Huntington took the lead at 2-1 and never looked back as they were able to, after that lead, go wire to wire with this one for all intents and purposes. Let's go over to Matt. He's got some numbers in this first game of the match.
Yeah, for Bethel in the first set, McDonald had 2 kills, 4 for Madison Beaver. You had Rachel Vendel with an ace, as well as Mackenzie Williams. For Huntington, Nicole Flickinger had 2 kills. You had Jennings Takasik had 3 kills, and you had Anna Lewis with 3 kills as well.
Notre Dame off to a 7-0 start against New Mexico across town. Certainly the 7th-ranked Irish will be the prohibited favorite in that particular one. Of course, in case you're just joining us, Indiana taken to the woodshed today by Ohio State. Illinois was losing late in the ball game to Eastern Michigan, and it remains 31-24 with 2:02 to go in the fourth quarter. Also some other scores in college football. Penn State on top of Pittsburgh 17-10 with 7:05 to go in the fourth quarter. As a lot of other games going on. Temple, boy, I tell you what, they're holding on for dear life against 21st-ranked Maryland. 20-15 with 3:23 to go in the fourth. West Virginia over North Carolina State 38-27 with 4.5 to go in the fourth. Mississippi State is losing with a minute to go in the game to Kansas State 31-24. And the Air Force, a 23-10 leader against Colorado with 10.5 to go in the fourth quarter. That's some of your college football updates presented in part by Tiny Condry here, working, as she always does, diligently with the camera, with all the audio, as well as all the scores. Now, once again, Huntington is on the left side of the, if you're just joining us here in this match from Bethel University on Mike Lightfoot Court. The Pilots will be moving once again from right to left, decked out in the jerseys. Huntington with the white jerseys, and that'll be an ace on the first play of the game. The Pilots certainly will take the service ace and be happy with a 1-0 lead. They were there in the first game. And for Madison Beaver, that is her team-leading 27th ace of the year. Her low-line drives serve here. This one deflected, and Huntington bounces back to tie it up 1-1. Deja vu all over again, Matthew.
Yep, 1-1. Same thing that happened.
Coming in to serve now, Elaine Breedensteiner. She'll be serving from the left side to the right side, up on that front line for the Foresters. Eckride along with Bynum. Also on the floor is Mickey. Check that. That's Tikasik on that front line. And the Pilots are able to score, and they lead for the first time after 1-0. Now it's 2-1. And now to serve for the Pilots will be Rachel Vendel. Vendel playing in her 56th game of the year. 14 assists, 120 digs, and she'll be serving here on the near side. And that'll be an ace. The Pilots' second ace of the second game. They now lead 3-1.
Biggest lead of the match for the Pilots.
And Eastern Michigan and Illinois all tied up with a $1:44 to go in the fourth. Over in Champaign at beautiful Memorial Stadium. There's a serve dug out along the back line here by Flickinger. And the Foresters are able to close that gap to 3-2 after the kill. And now substitutions being made. Coming up on the front line will be Anna Lewis. Coming out of the game will be Laura Nagel, the 5'4 sophomore who prepped at Muncie Burris, another one of those great teams from Delaware County. Here's the high arching serve. Downs keeps it alive. Vendel sends it back, and now Butler's there to keep it alive. Pass over to the near side. Oh, nice little change-up play by Lewis. Butler with the pass over to the near side. Pilots with the block. Kept alive by Bynum as she sends it up the elevator shaft. We'll block again. This one goes off of Bynum. The Pilots will take the point, and they now lead 4-2.
Best rally of the afternoon we've had between the both clubs, and the Pilots come up with the big point.
And now to serve for the Pilots will be Hannah Marie Dell. Hannah punches one long. Butler plays it along the back line. Over here to the near side, cross court shot. Bethel on the attack. This one punched way out here, and that's going to be a point as it went around the pole. And it's now 4-3 Pilots. And to serve for Huntington will be Paige Eckride. She prepped at Homestead High School. Leads the club with 183 kills, 8 assists, 8 aces, 122 digs. Her line drive serve is an ace. It's tied 4-4. I tell you what, you watch Kelsey Herber coach along the near side, you would think that she was playing. She's so excited. She's jumping up and down. She is an enthusiastic soul over here along the near side. Great to visit with her during the pregame. You can tell she has a tremendous passion. There's a pass over here. Nice little redirect by the Pilots. Well-placed ball by Sue Vandegrift, who prepped over at Jimtown High School in Elkhart County. 5-4 Pilots here in game 2. They lost game 1, 25-19, in case you're just joining us. And out of serve will be Mackenzie Williams. Williams played here by Mickey. And this one finally sent home. Once again, Bynum ties it up at 5-5. And now to serve the talented Arian Butler. 43. This would make her 45th game. She leads the club with 215 digs. The left-hander, high arching serve, dug out by her counterpart in the libero position. Downs. There's a pass kept alive, and Pilots are gonna run out of real estate, and Huntington has got the lead back at 6-5. That's actually their first lead of the second game.
Yeah, it was tied at 1 and it's tied at 4.
And now to serve again, Butler. Low arching serve is come over to the net. Williams sends one here, and DeKosick sends it up the elevator shaft. There's one kept alive and finally put home by Sue Vandegrift, and Bethel has knotted it up at 6-6.
Vandegrift with a couple of big points for the Pilots here in this second game.
Our third tie of this second contest, 1, 4, and 6 respectively. And Peyton Hart, who's been pretty quiet today, the East Noble standout. She punches one, played along the shoot tops by Eckrite. And this one just inside the line. They're going to count that a point for the Foresters, 7-6. Katie Weiss didn't like the call. She thought the ball was in. From our vantage point, I thought it was too. There's the serve again. This time it was Rammel on the serve, and then the Pilots come right back and tie it up. We're tied at 7-up.
Vandegrift again.
Bridget Downs, Lafayette, Lexington, Kentucky. High. Huntington on the attack. Ball deflected. Downs plays it along the back line, passes it up to Arnold, who's been pretty quiet. DeKosick passes over the here. Arnold with the block.
You made the comment, Paul, that she'd been quiet, and she came up big there. Still serving is Downs, and that will be out. And the Pilots with another point. They now lead at 9-7. And a timeout by Huntington.
So after the 2 straight points, 9-7 our score, we're going to take a timeout as well. We'll be back with more right after this on Regional Radio Sports.
Those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. And we want to give you a quick reminder. We got a couple volleyball matches coming up this week. Indiana University South Bend Volleyball, you can hear on Regional Radio Sports all season long. Bethel University Volleyball also on Regional Radio Sports. A slew of great high school football games coming your way on our local affiliates. Wherever you may be, you can check those out on our calendar. Matt keeps that updated. Once again, Eastern Michigan, Illinois, deadlocked at 31, and that one is with Eastern Michigan has the ball with 8 seconds to go. Second and goal on the Illini. On the Illini 5, they have an opportunity to win that.
Maybe they're going to try to go in or kick a field goal, pending on how many timeouts. As Bridget Downs continues her serve.
9-7 Downs. Here's a block and nice job by AJ to keep that one alive. And this one, a sensational play by the Foresters. There is the one-hand dunk on the hook play by Maddie Bieber, and just like that, the Pilots have their largest lead of the afternoon at 10-7.
Great poise by Bethel to stay focused there on that one when all that other stuff was going around.
Here's a serve and an ace off the play from Bridget Downs. Bethel leads 11-7. So the Pilots have come out of their cocoon.
Well, the Pilots have actually strung together 5 straight points here.
Downs again, service ace, almost block kept alive, and the Pilots come back on the attack. Downs with the pass to the net. Over to the right side, Armo with the little soft toss, keeping it alive. Here is ball sent to the back line, a collision, kept alive, but running out of time. The Pilots scoring in. They now lead it 12-7.
Yeah, Pilots trailed 7-6 and have run off 6 in a row now.
And once again, Bridget Downs with a serve. This one nearly handcuffed Laura Nagel on the near sideline. This one goes off the tape. Here's a play over to here on the near side. And this one will be another point for the Pilots, making it 13-7. And Kelsey Herbert Question is she going to take another timeout to stymie the momentum? It's all because of the serve of Downs. Downs goes to the back line. Butler plays it there. This one redirected. It goes out of bounds. And it will be a point for the Pilots, making it 14-7. Boy, I tell you what, whatever charged them up, you need to do it again. Downs again with the serve. This one along the back line. Nagel was there to play it. On the hook again. Here's Nagel. Keeping it alive. Passed it to the near side. This one goes long. Off the hit from Brandy Mickey. 15-7 Pilots. And a timeout on Mike Lightfoot court. The Bethel University Pilots have awoken, and the butterfly has booked away from the cocoon, Matt.
Well, the play of Vandy Griff, she's had a couple of big kills around the net there, and the Pilots have run off 9 in a row to take the lead 15-7. And actually, that has been the biggest lead for either team in the match, as Huntington led by 7 in the first game, and now Bethel with an 8-point lead here.
Scoreboard update: Eastern Michigan has taken the lead against Illinois and has secured the win. A good win for Eastern Michigan. Anytime the directional schools from Eastern or from Michigan, whether it be Central, Western, or Eastern Michigan, get a win, it really sends shockwaves through the MAC. Well, once again, 15-7 Pilots. Pilots lost the first game of the match, 25-19. This is a similar story for Huntington. Last night when they were at Goshen, they won the first one, lost the second one. Not to say if this one's over or not. Butler with the dig, passes over to the right side. This one, they're going to say that it was in, and that ends the drought. 15-8 after the timeout. And now to serve will be Nicole Flickinger. 115 digs to go along with her 10 aces to start play. Playing along the near line, Williams over to the near side. Cook hammers it home. A.J. McDonald, excuse me. 16-8. A.J. McDonald, South Bend Clay product. Playing in her 51st game of the season. On the far line, Eckwright over to the near side. This one is hammered home. So the Foresters with back-to-back scores now. Close the gap to 16-9. Substitutions ins and out. Lindsay Ingenito checks out of the game now, and back in to serve will be Elaine Breedensteiner. Breedensteiner along the far side. Low line drive. Downs plays it. There's a pass over to the near side, and this one hammered home by Kelsey Grozdoff. That's 17-9 Pilots. And now to serve for the Pilots will be Rachel Vendel. Vendel, all-conference school record holder for digs in a single match at 47 at Valparaiso High School. And here's with the pass to the front of the net, trying to go to the far corner, was Maddie Beaver. She couldn't get it done. And it's now 17-10. And now Huntington again to serve. The roundhouse right on the serve by Takasik. Pilots, there's Takasik on the dig. Over to Butler. Over to the far side, this one hammered home by Paige Eckwright, the former Homestead Spartan, with a solid play there. That makes it 17-11 in favor of the Pilots. Back-to-back points for the team from Huntington County. There's a pass over to the right side. Peyton Hart with the howitzer. She scores. It's now 18-11 in favor of the Pilots.
Hart had been very quiet up until then.
Boy, that one had some serious heat. That was like a Nolan Ryan fastball up and underneath your chin. There's a serve to the back line. Huntington comes on the attack. Little tap. And the Pilots, Kelsey Grozdoff couldn't get it back over the net. That makes it 18-12. Pilots, as the Foresters will have Paige Eckwright to serve again. Number 16, standing back here, sizes up the situation, punches it to the back line. Now the Pilots on the attack. Here's Hart with the kill. 19-12. It wasn't as demonstrative, Matt, as it was the last time.
No.
It took a little bit off.
And that's what you have to do sometimes. You have to know your limitations.
And now it's 19-12 Bethel. As the Pilots make substitutions, as Rusduff comes out of the game, and Mackenzie Williams, who's second on the team in aces, will serve. Huntington on the attack, and a block here for the Pilots. Off the hands of Peyton Hart, scores the Pilots' 20th point.
I think whatever Hart has kind of woken up in this match.
20-12 our score. As the Pilots score again, making it 21-12. We were tied at 1-4-7, but once the Pilot took that lead at 7-7, everything changed. Butler sends it over here to the near side. They're setting up the play. Nice deflection by the Pilots to keep it alive. Here's Hart over here to the far side. This one kept nicely alive on the far way by Mickey. And this one goes long, and the Pilots now have a 22-12 lead and have grabbed the momentum here in this match, even though they trail 1-0. Williams again with the serve. She punches it with the right hand, played by Butler on the back line. Across court one, and this one just inside the line. Brandy Mickey perfectly placed that ball, making it 22-13 in favor of the Pilots. Butler again to serve. As I mentioned earlier, achieved the big 1,000 plateaued earlier in the season. And on a career, here's one down the far sideline. This one is going to be a point for the Pilots. It makes it 23-13. And Bethel closing in on the second game as Peyton Hart sizes things up. Number 6 approaches the ball, sends one. It's dug out by Eckwright on the back line. Diving play by Downs to keep it alive. This one kept alive by Butler on the dive. Eckwright sends one off to the left and out of bounds. It's now 24-13. Bethel's Peyton Hart will be serving for game 2. And a 1-1 tie in the match. High toss. This one played again by Eckwright. Passes over the near side, and the Pilots come up big with the block by Vandegrift and McDonald, and they secure game number 2. 25-13, a convincing win by Bethel in the second game of the match. We're tied 1-1. We'll be back with more Bethel University Volleyball live from the Gates Gymnasium at the Y Camp Athletic Center, high above Mike Lightfoot Court on the Regional Radio Sports Network. Serving Indiana residents since 1985, Centier Bank remains committed to supporting students, schools, and families. Centier Bank is a proud sponsor of the Regional Radio Sports Network Performer of the Week in recognition of outstanding athletes. Visit Centier.com today to view this week's featured athlete. Centier Bank, member FDIC. Hi, this is Paul Condry of the Regional Radio Sports Network. That may be my professional title, but did you know that I'm also the son of a U.S. Navy World War II veteran and the proud father of the United States? Recovery and transition back home to their communities. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. The basic idea that drives these efforts is simple. For as much as our heroes have sacrificed, they deserve the best care and support available in their hour of need, whenever it may occur. The Semper Fi Fund, a 4-star charity and an A+ rating, has served over 16,000 members since 2004. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. For more information, visit them online at www.semperfifund.org.
It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word.
When St. Jude finds something that works well with a certain cancer, they share that with everybody.
And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge. We just have to worry about helping Chandler, and he's just my heart.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Paul Condry along with Matt Copsey. Glad you can join us. Huntington University got off to a great start. Won game number 1, 25-19. Bethel bounced back and broke open a close game at 7-7 and never looked back. Rolls to a 25-13 win in game number 2. So we're deadlock 1-1. Let's go over to Matt. He's got some stats.
Thanks, Paul, for Huntington. Lindsay Ignito had 4 kills in that second game. Paige Eckwright with 3. Taya Bynum with 2 for the Pilots. Paige Hart and Sue Vandergriff with 2. And A.J. McDonald with 3 kills.
Once again, Huntington University will be on the right side of your screen. The Pilots will be on the left side of your screen here if you're just joining us. The Libreros, Bridget Downs and Ariane Butler have been dynamic, as you would expect here today. Butler wearing that green jersey, wearing number 12. Downs wearing the black jersey with the purple numbers, wearing number 11 out there. And Butler will get the party started for Huntington University. And she'll serve to start game number 3, the most pivotal game of the match as per usual. Butler with the high arching serve. Bethel coming on the attack. McDonald tries to go cross court, missed the shot. And it's now 1-0 Huntington University.
Well, that snapped Bethel's streak of scoring the first point in each game.
Butler again to serve. This time the high arching serve is played by her counterpart, Libero Downs. Oh, a nice one-handed play. This one deflects, and what a sensational play by Brandy Mickey. Just on a pure happenstance, she threw her arm up there, and the ball ricocheted into the corner. That gives HU a 2-0 lead. What a sensational athletic play.
They were down to their final hit, and she just basically used a little bit of athleticism, got it over the net, and found an opening.
Armold tries to keep it alive, sends it back over. And now Huntington back on the attack, and the Pilots score the point as McDonald and Armold were there for the block. 2-1 Huntington, and now to serve will be Rachel Vendel for Bethel. Vendel, I thought, who played very, very well in that second game. Over to the far side. This one hammered home once again. Armold and Hart were there for the block, and we're tied 2-2. Our first tie of the third game of the match. And Vendel again. Here, a low line drive serve. This sets up Peyton Hart for the kill. And Peyton gives the Pilots their first lead of the third game, 3-2. Once again, Vendel on the serve.
Pots have run off 3 in a row.
Vendel again with the right-hander. This one handcuffs Eckwright on the back line. Now the Pilots will come back on the attack. Downs with a pass over here to Hart. Oh, a diving play by Butler of Huntington to keep it alive. And Downs tries to save one going down the far sideline. And Huntington secures the point, and we're tied 3-3. And again to serve for Huntington University. Josephine Rammel sends it back. They're setting up the near side where Armold will try to inch one in. Couldn't get the job done. It's now 4-3 Huntington as they have the lead back. And the serve again. Hart over to the near side. Hammered home. What a play in the middle by Vendel. 4-4 tie. Our third tie already here in game number 3. Now onto the floor will be Hannah Marie Dahl, the freshman from South Adams High School. Stationary knuckleball serve goes straight up the middle. Oh, a nice little redirect up front by DeKosick. And it's now 5-4 Huntington here in game number 3. As Arnold and Hannah Marie Doe check out of the game. On the floor up front now for Bethel, it'll be Beaver along with Vandegrift. And on the service error, the Pilots will take the free point, and we're deadlocked at Brooks Robinson's at 5 aside.
Tied at 2, tied at 3, tied at 4, and now tied at 5.
Now to serve will be Williams. Here's the right-handed serve. With a difficult time over here along the near side was Eckwright, and the Pilots will pick up the point and lead 6-5. Mackenzie Murray Ann Williams. 2 letters in volleyball, 2 in tennis at Elkhart Memorial High School. Honorable mention, Mental Attitude Award winner at her school. Here's the one-hand redirect by Madison Beaver. She scores, and Bethel has its first 2-point lead of the third game, 7-5. Nope, they're going to wave that off, Matt. It looks like they're going to change that call.
Apparently they're going to say it was out of bounds or it might have been a push.
Okay, so we'll call it 6-6. So once again, how apropos, as we have our 5th tie already. Over on the, some a miscommunication between Hart and Vendel. And Huntington takes the free point instead of being down 2 just a second ago. Now they're up 1, 7-6. As Breedensteiner will serve again. High arching serve. Williams with the pass. This one is going to be a point off the hands of Sue Vandegrift. And now we're tied. Guess what? At 7. As the trend continues. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. As now the Pilots will serve. As Hart, the East Noble native, punches one. It grazes the tape as it crosses the net. Oh, a big play by Downs to keep it alive. Hart passes over here. McDonald for Bethel. Eckwright. McDonald digs it out. Oh, on the hook shot by Madison Beaver, it falls harmlessly to the floor, and Huntington secures the point, and it's now 8-7. And now to serve will be Jennings Takasic, the 5'9 junior, who leads the club starting today in aces and in assists. And that will be a point for the Pilots off the service error. And you can only imagine, we're tied now at 8. Who's going to break first? It's Downs on the serve. This is where the Pilots really played well when she served in the second game that tied up the match. McDonald played on the redirect. Flickinger on the back line. Downs can't trigger that one out. And Huntington with the lead back at 9-8. And Eckwright to serve again. The 5'10 senior will serve in the middle of the floor. Bethel comes up on the attack to the right side. Arnold, nice block by Brandy Mickey to keep it alive. McDonald tries to go, and Butler's there with the dig out. Over along the near side, a diving play by Eckhart. And that'll be a point for the Pilots, and we're tied at Bobby Hulls, 9-9. You just can't get any closer than what we've had in this pivotal third game. As now to serve will be Madison Beaver. When you have 8 ties, and now the Pilots with a 10-9 lead. Now if everything goes on cue, this should be a Huntington point. Who's going to be the team that breaks first? Maddie Beaver with the right-handed serve. Butler plays it on the back line. Here's a pass up here to the top. 2-hand push shot played by McDonald. And that goes out of bounds. And Matt, what'd I tell you?
Yep.
We're tied 10-10.
It's no momentum, just back and forth, back and forth.
And the team that can string 2 or 3 together is going to win the pivotal third game. Butler with the serve. Gruzdoff set up the play. Oh, nice play by Butler, digging that one off the shoe tops. Eckwright sends it back over the net. They're setting up McDonald, and she's there, and Butler's there again to dig it out. Over on the far side, this one is going to be a point for the Pilots. And the Pilots in front 11-10. And now to serve again, Rachel Vendel. She'll be serving from the far corner from our vantage point. With the right-hand serve just over the table. Eckerite digs that out on the back line. This one blocked, kept alive by Takasik. One-hand punch ricochets off a pair of Pilots. Now here's Downs with the pass to Hart. She scores! And for the first time in Game 3, the Pilots have a 2-point lead at 12-10. And only Huntington had a 2-0 lead, and now the Pilots have a 12-10 lead. Huntington on the attack. They're setting up shop on the right side, and hammering it home over there was Anna Lewis. Lewis was pretty quiet here in the last couple of games. She was very active in the first game. It's now 12-11 in favor of the Pilots, as the Pilots will get back on defense as Josephine Rammel will serve.
She had they're going to say a rotation error on Bethel, so it's going to be 12-12 now.
I tell you, you just can't give away things like that. In a pivotal game, when you're trying to stop that losing streak, Hart tries to go long. She mishit it. And now, just moments ago, the Pilots were up 2. Now they find themselves, after 3 unanswered by the Foresters, it's now 13-12 for the dark green and white. Bieber with the pass to Arnold. She goes with the soft toss. And a beautiful two-hand corner shot by Jennings Takasik, and it's now 14-12, and Katie Weiss is going to take a timeout, her first timeout of the third game, and we'll take a timeout as well. 1-1 is 14-12 Huntington here in the third game. We'll be back with more of Bethel University Sports right after this on Regional Radio Sports.
Manage your money like a pro with TCU. You can score big with the TCU Debit MasterCard that gives you cash back on everyday purchases. Plus, you'll win with access to hundreds of free ATMs across Indiana. Check out TCU's starting lineup of services to help you manage your cash and build your savings. Visit TCUnet.com to kick off your better banking experience. See TCU Debit MasterCard terms and conditions for details. Alliance One and Co-op ATMs within Indiana are free. New members are subject to a $7 membership fee and $5 initial share deposit.
Paul Condry along with Matt Copsey. Glad you can join us here from Bethel University in Mishawaka, Indiana. A busy day of Crossroads League volleyball. Mount Vernon at Spring Arbor, Grace at Goshen, Taylor at St. Francis. Some of the action that's happening elsewhere. 14-12 Huntington. They have run off 4 straight to grab a 14-12 lead.
Now, Huntington has no shortage of lefties.
It's for sure there. Bethel comes back on the attack. Arnold.
That's going to be a point for Huntington as they stepped over the line.
Arnold playing with that heavily bandaged left hand. It's now 15-12. A little pinky. Here's the high arching serve played by Vendel. Cross court now to Hart, and the missed timing there gives Huntington a 16-12 advantage. Pilots have Arnold along with Beaver and Kelsey Grudzdouble on that front line. Here's Downs with the pass. Cross court now here to Hart. That one pops up on the deflection over here to the near side. One-hand dynamic play again by Mickey. And the Pilots are able to score. That makes it 16-13. So that ended, Matt, a 6-0 run by the visitors. And now Hannah Marie Dahl will serve. Dahl, who is playing in only her 6th game of the season. So number 15 with the low line drive. And the Pilots will take advantage of the point. 16-14. Hannah Marie Dahl, working as a nurse in the Children's Hospital is her goal. In high school, she had 2 letters in 4 years. Tennis, 3 letters in 4 years. Swimming, she also lettered at South Adams High School. Here's a redirect, and they're going to say a infraction on the Pilots, and that'll be a 17-14 advantage.
Yeah, Grusdov went under the net for a violation.
And now to serve for Huntington here on the right side is Flickinger, and she sends one long. Bethel will take the free point. That is the third service error for the Foresters here in this third game. And now to serve Williams again for Bethel. She'll punch it with a roundhouse right. This one passed to the front line. Eckrite is able to send one home. 18-15 Foresters here in the pivotal third game. And now back into the game will be Elaine Breedensteiner, the Westfield Shamrock. And she'll drill it with the right hand. High arching play by Williams. Here's Hart with the hammer. And that one's going to come back to the Bethel side of the net. Oh, nice little dink. And that's going to be a point. Well played by the Pilots, Sue Vandegrift. And the Pilots have closed the gap to 18-16.
Andy Griffiths played very well this afternoon, especially around the net.
And Peyton Hart again to serve. Peyton with that high toss. Punches one where it's played on the back line. And a nice play at the net for Huntington to score the point. That makes it 19-16 Foresters. Once again, in case you're just hopping along, we're tied 1-1. Huntington again will count upon Jennings to Kosick. Williams up to the net. Now it's McDonald. And hey, she was blocked away nicely by Bynum, and along with Anna Lewis. And now it's 20-16.
Nope, they're going to give the point to the Pilots. Nope.
So they are going to give
Yes.
the point to the Pilots. So it makes it 19-17. And now it'll be Downs to serve. Bridge over the net she goes. This one on the miss hit. And the timing wasn't there for Taya Bynum, the former Panther of Indianapolis North Central. And Bethel was within one at 19-18. And good things have happened when number 11 has been on the serve. The right-hander goes to the back line. Butler keeps it alive. Now to the front of the net they go. Eckrite punches one, and she scores the point. That makes it 20-18 Huntington. And now back into the game will be Brandy Mickey, 5'9" junior, former LaPorte Slicer. And here's Downs on the dig. Passes over to McDonald. Butler is there to pick one off their shoe tops. Downs does the same thing. McDonald try to keep it alive, and then Downs comes back. Eckrite with the pass to the net. Oh, nice block by Arnold. And I believe it was Maddie Beaver up there, and the Pilots have closed the gap to 20-19. The Pilots needed a block there, and that was huge. And now Maddie Beaver will be the young lady who serves the Allentown, Pennsylvania product. She'll punch it with the right hand. Over here to the near side. Hart with the pass coming back to McDonald. Hart keeps it alive as he sends it up the elevator shaft. There's one deflected off of Huntington. Nope, they're going to say it was not, and it will be Huntington with the point, making it 21-19 Foresters as Butler is set to serve. Butler with the left hand. Hart passes over here, and this one is good on the kill by Kelsey Grudstoff. And it's now 21-20 Huntington as Rachel Vendel will come in to serve. Rachel will be along that far sideline. Serves one into the net. 22-20 on the service error. If I'm not mistaken, Matt, the first service error of the third game.
Yes.
Boy, a tough time to put one in there. 22-20. Hart with the pass up to the net. Played nicely by Beaver to keep it alive, but she ran out of real estate. Now Huntington in the driver's seat, leading 23-20, as it'll be a timeout for Katie Weiss, her club, on the ropes here in this third game in a 1-1 tie. We'll be back with more right after this short timeout on Regional Radio Sports.
They came from every corner of the country, from small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines, a tough and determined few dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still, they come. Celebrate the history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. Paul Coundry along with Matt Copsey. A very exciting match we've had thus far. Bethel with a hiccup in the first game with a slow start, but they have bounced back to win the second game. And now Huntington has bounced back here in the third game. They have a 23-20 lead, and they will have the ball to be serving off the hands of Muncie Central product, Josephine Rammel. Rammel will be punching it with the left hand, goes into the near corner. Vendel plays it up, and this one punched back out. Eckwright kept it alive along the back line. There's a block. Arnold with a save and the block. Butler with the pass over to the near side, and a Pilots score coming out of the timeout, 23-20. That play was set up by great front net play by Abby Arnold, who not only had the block, but was able to send it right up the elevator shaft, and then she punched it home. And now to serve will be Dull again. Dull, low line drive serve. Eckwright digs it out on the back line. Eckwright will punch one, and she'll score. Oh, the Pilots, a golden opportunity missed there. It's now 24-21. Huntington will be serving for game 2 and a 2-1 lead in the match. And now to serve for the Foresters, Nicole Flickinger. Vendel over to the near side. Hart kept alive by Butler. Pass up here to the net. This one kept alive, and now here's Downs. Over to Hart. Hart sends it back. Butler plays it for Huntington. Over on the near side, Pilots with a nice block this time at the net. He's setting up Hart. Hart, oh, a nice play by Flickinger to keep it alive along the back line. There's one miss hit by Eckwright. The Pilots remain alive, 24-22, as the Pilots stave off elimination here in this third game. And now Williams to serve. McKenzie tried to keep her club in it. Sends it with the right hand down the near side. Eckwright on the redirect, blocked away, and the Pilots score on the Hart redirect. It is now 24-23. Once again, back-to-back elimination points in the game. And now it'll be a timeout for Huntington University. 24-23 Foresters in game 3. We'll be back with more after this.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Paul Coundry, Matt Copsey here from Bethel University. Matt, it's really interesting. I was watching both of our coaches, these two young ladies, of course, who had good volleyball careers in their own right. Kelsey Herber and Katie Weiss, the way they coach, very encouraging. Nobody's in anybody's face. It's so interesting to watch men coach and women's coach. We'll talk about that as the season goes on. Here's Williams with the serve. Eckwright sends it up high. Now Huntington comes back on the attack. Eckwright goes cross-court. Hart keeps it alive. Two-hand redirect, and the Pilots have tied it up 24-all. As they have, for the third consecutive point, have staved off being eliminated in this third game.
Well, it was Williams in the second game that helped them, and she's helped bring them back here in the third.
Here's one deflected around, and now on that redirect by Lindsay Ingenito, It's now back to a 25-24 advantage for Huntington, and now they will be serving for game number 3. And the person to serve will be Elaine Breedensteiner. Breedensteiner will come up. The low line drive. Serve really caused some problems. They're coming back on the attack. This one is a winner for Paige Eckwright. 26-24. Huntington wins the third game. And now Huntington with the command in the match at 2-1. We'll be back with some of the totals. We're live from the Gates Gymnasium here in Mishawaka, Indiana on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
Serving Indiana residents since 1985, Centier Bank remains committed to supporting students, schools, and families. Centier Bank is a proud sponsor of the Regional Radio Sports Network Performer of the Week in recognition of outstanding athletes. Visit Centier.com today to view this week's featured athlete. Centier Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, this is Paul Condry of the Regional Radio Sports Network. That may be my professional title, but did you know that I'm also the son of a U.S. Navy World War II veteran and a proud father of a United States Marine? Let me share with you something very close to my heart. It's called the Semper Fi Fund and its program America's Fund, which provides immediate lifetime support for post-9/11 wounded, critically ill, and injured members of the U.S. Armed Forces, veterans, and their families to ease recovery and transition back home to their communities. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. The basic idea that drives these efforts is simple. For as much as our heroes have sacrificed, they deserve the best care and support available in their hour of need, whenever it may occur. The Semper Fi Fund, a 4-star charity and an A+ rating, has served over 16,000 members since 2004. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. For more information, visit them online at www.semperfifund.org. Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. Matt Copsey, yours truly, Paul Condry. What an exciting match we've had thus far. Matt, I know you've got some of the numbers, but for those people who may just stopping along, Huntington won the first game 25-19. Pilots roared back in the second game, 25-13 with the win. And this was a nip and tuck affair. We were tied, 10 times in this one at the beginning, from 2-12 respectively. And then it seems like Huntington was going to take advantage, but give Bethel a lot of credit. They were down 3 game points at one point in time to rally to tie it up at 24 all, but Huntington still had plenty of gas left in the tank to record the 26-24 win.
Yeah, just a lot of determination in that third set. Paige Eckwright with 3 kills, 2 for Jennings Takasik for the Pilots, 5 for Peyton Hart, 2 for A.J. McDonald, and 2 for Sue Vandegrift. So this is crucial here now, Paul. You're right now Pilots with their back against the wall, but they showed in the second set that they could come back. They just got to, as we heard Coach Herber say, Bethel has to flush that one away and start to move forward.
Anna Lewis, Brandy Mickey, along with Lindsay Ingenito, will be along the front line. Paige Eckwright, along with Jennings Takasik, and also on the floor will be Arian Butler. And now if you look at the Bethel side of the house, which will be on the right side of your screen here in this fourth game, Bethel will have McDonald along with Hart. Arnold will be on their downs. Maddie Beaver will also be on the floor. And finally, Kelsey Gruzdoff. As Bethel will be serving to start this fourth game, trailing 2-1 in the match. Line drive serve as Huntington comes back on the attack, and the Pilots immediately, because Arnold and Gruzdoff were in the right spot, Bethel scores to take the 1-0 lead. As Madison Beaver will serve along the near sideline again with that right hand. Goes long. Eckwright plays it with 2 hands along the back, and the Pilots are not able to shut the door there, and Huntington comes right back to tie it up 1-1. As substitution patterns are being made here for Huntington. Butler checking out of the, well, maybe not. There's some discussions on who's going in and who's going out, respectively. Tell you what, Kelsey Herbert, the coach at Huntington University, has absolutely dynamic personality. My first time spending some time with her prior to the game doing our pregame interview. The communications major at Huntington University is just, you know what, she is going to do a great job at Huntington University with the smile and the personality that she has. She is, you can just tell she is got the command of her team. And now to serve for Huntington University will be Anna Lewis, the freshman, who's played well, especially in the first game. There's a pass over to the right side, and this one goes right through Lewis's hand, but saving the day there was Ingenito. But the Pilots are able to pick up the point and now lead it 2-1. And now to serve will be Rachel Vindel. Vindel, who likes paddleboarding, ice skating, photography. She played in the North-South Indiana Elite All-Star game. And she has the most digs in a single match with 47 at Valparaiso High School. And she punches one into the net and gives a freebie to Huntington. We're tied 2-2.
We saw that in game one, and that's what hurt the Pilots right after they got a big point, and can't have those.
And now
they're double checking the lineup that they gave. In terms of, you can only, I think you're only a limited number of substitutions.
Kelsey Herbert getting some discussion with our officials here today. I believe that's Gretchen Galloway, who's down here along the near side. Our officials up along the net. Terry Miller, the veteran from Mishawaka, is up there. Also our line judges Diane Morris and Mark Bailey. Bailey over here to my right, Diane Morris over here in the corner to my left. Of course, as some of the substitution patterns are in question here. We're at 2-2 here in the fourth game of the match. The winner of each game was on the right side of the net thus far, Matt. I don't know if that's any correlation. Tanya Condry, the woman with two brains, thinks that's the way she is. And the reason I say that, these accountants that I hang out with, they think so differently than I do.
Well, it's all numbers.
My broadcast partner of 28 years, Frank Kilpakowski, he's into that numbers thing, and so they've sorted it out, and it'll be Nicole Flickinger to serve on that far corner. She runs, jumps, and there's Downs digging it off the shoot tops. And here's a kill in the middle by Arnold, just past the outstretched hands of Nicole Flickinger. And Bethel with a 3-2 advantage here in this fourth game. And once again, Dahl to serve. One just over the tape. Eckride digs it out. Roundhouse right, kept alive nicely by Ingenito. This one cross court for the winner from Peyton Hart. Pilots lead 4-2. And now to serve again will be Dahl. Hannah Marie, stationary right-hand line drive just over the tape. They're setting up they're setting up Eckride on the far side, and she couldn't knock it away, and the Pilots have a 5-2 advantage in this fourth game. Their largest lead here in this particular game. Bethel's best success was in game 2. Once again, Dahl with a serve. Butler pulls it out waist high. Eckride goes down the far sideline. And now they're setting up here Brusdorf. Butler with a pass here to Eckride. And she scores to close the gap. 5-3 Bethel. Multiple substitutions now. Checking in will be Taya Bynum for Huntington, and also joining her on the hardwoods will be Elaine Breedensteiner here on Mike Lightfoot court. Breedensteiner will punch it with the right hand. And now the Pilots on the attack. Oh, here's a miss hit by the Pilots. It was fortunate. Here's a little two-hand redirect, and they're going to say underneath the net was Madison Bieber, and it's 5-4. And just like that, Pilot three-point advantage is down to 1 now. As Breedensteiner continues to serve off the shoe tops. They're setting up here the Gruzda, and it's now 5-5 as the Foresters have rallied. We have our third tie of the fourth game.
Takasik with just that little left-handed push in that opening to tie the match, to tie the game, I should say.
There's a serve once again, that lollipop serve by Breedensteiner, and here's the Pilots with a golden opportunity. Let that one slip away. Now it's 6-5, and Katie Weiss does not want to see this one get out of hand. It's timeout Bethel.
Yeah,
6-5.
4 in a row they've given up, and good timeout, just kind of stave off some of that momentum there. And like you said, Paul, watching both of these two ladies here coach, both of them using their hands, trying to articulate what they want done. Attention is right on them, eyes focused.
One thing that's been very, very evident, that if you look at the huddles of both of these clubs, all the girls are totally zeroed in on what coaches is talking about in both of the huddles, which tells me that their coaches have command of their teams. But I think it's always encouraging. I don't know how many games that you and I have done, whether it be basketball, a lot of basketball, where guys and gals are looking up at the stands at their mom and boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever the case may be, not listening to what the coach is going to.
It comes down to plain and simple to focus.
So after the Bethel timeout here in this fourth game, it will be Elaine Breedensteiner to continue her serve. She came into the match second on the team in service aces with 18, and she'll punch one again. That high arching serve just goes over the net, and now Bethel on the attack. Nope, they're going to say a violation on the Pilots at the net. Huntington leads 7-5. Once again, from left to right, Elaine Breedensteiner. There's that. She changed the direction on that serve. She went the line drive look that time. On the attack. Oh, running out of room. The Bethel team, Matt, is really, it seems like they've lost their luster. Let me use that terminology.
Well, you've got Breedensteiner over here doing different types of serves. Then she was the lollipop, now the line drive.
Here's a kill for Peyton Hart to stop the bleeding. It's now 8-6. That ends a 6-0 run by the visitors. Pilots trying to earn their first league win of the year. Huntington trying to pick up their second league win and even their card at 2-2. Williams with the serve down the far side. Oh, a big hit by Taya Bynum, and she punches that one to victory, 9-6.
Yeah, they set her up real well, and she just unleashed that hand and slammed it down.
Tell you what, that's like our good friend Brian Schroll going through the buffet line right there with authority. And now to serve for the Foresters. Some conversations going to be going on between the captains over there, Jennings Takasik and Peyton Hart. Talking things over there with Terry Miller, the Mishawaka native, on the net. He's up there in the chair. As now these two athletes will come over here and talk to their respective teammates, as Peyton Hart will ask, will come over here and now give her opinion about things to Coach Katie Weiss. Once again, we're not sure what the dynamics or any of that is all about, but the delay in the game certainly, I don't know if it's an advantage for either club at this stage. As Takasik again to serve. Downs. There's a nice little redirect. Butler makes the saving play to keep it alive. Here's a diving play. Pilots have still keep it alive. And they're going to say a double hit. And Huntington starting to pull away, Matt, here at 10-6 here in this, which could be the game winner.
Oh.
Fourth game with a 2-1 lead. Low line drive down, sends one up high. Passes over the near side. Hart ricochets off the hands of Takasik. Butler brings it back the other way for HU. Over here to the near side. Hart. Butler with a diving dig on the near side. This one kept alive by Mackenzie Williams. And now Vendel sends it back to the HU side of play. Here's one deflected. Downs can't corral it. And that one goes out of bounds. And almost hit my pastoral on the far side. Jeremy across the way. And now it'll be Huntington on the attack. Now Takasik on that serve. Here she is again, sending one over to the far side. And beautiful play by Butler. Setting up Eckwright. And now here's Downs getting the ball back. Passes up to the net here. They're setting up the one-hander, and a miss hit by Anna Lewis gives the Pilots the point. It's now 11-7 in favor of the visitors.
We haven't seen much of A.J. McDonald in this. I think this is her first action in this fourth game.
There's the serve by Hart. They're setting up the play here. Eckwright had it hammered home, and McDonald was there alongside Sue Vandegrift. And the Pilots have closed the gap to 11-8 here in this fourth game. Once again, if you're just hopping along, Pilots lost the first game 25-19, won the second game 25-13, lost a heartbreaker in the third one 26-24. And here's Eckwright hammering one home again. It's now 12-8 Huntington University here in the fourth game. And Eckwright, who's been outstanding here this afternoon, going to punch one in here with the right hand. Williams passes up here. This one pushed out of bounds by Vandegrift. It's now 13-8. Katie Weiss has only one timeout remaining. Eckwright again. This one going long. Williams with the pass to the net. Setting up McDonald. Did she miss-hit it? It is now 14-8. in favor of Huntington. And a timeout, Katie Weiss. And the Pilots, they are on the ropes here in this fourth game. We'll be back with more right after this on Regional Radio Sports.
It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word. When St. Jude finds something that works well with a certain cancer, they share that with everybody. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge. We just have to worry about helping Chandler, and he's just my heart.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Paul Condry on with Matt Copsey. Don't forget Thursdays, you can join Matt and I from Beef O'Brady's, home of the Coach's Box. We always have fun hanging out with coaches, and certainly looking forward to talking some high school and college sports. Always a good way to look. And also, if you're a fan of high school football, the hashtag's all you need to know. We own Fridays. And on the floor for Bethel, they'll have Vandegrift along with Beaver. Also, looks like Hart's going to be out there, McDonald, Williams, and the talented Bridget Downs, as Eckwright will serve for Huntington University, who leads 14-8 here in this fourth game and leading 2-1 in the match.
Yeah, since trailing 5-4, they've run off 10, and that's going to make it 11 now. 11-3 run.
And now again, it's Eckrite. I've really liked her play here today. She is a senior, and you can tell she's got that moxie. Oh, a nice diving play by Takasik to keep that play alive. Here is the right-handed hook opportunity by Beaver. Takasik again, Eckrite goes long. Hart kept it alive. Now Down sends it up the elevator shaft. Hart goes to the far side where it's dug out by Mickey. And just like that, Huntington jumps up to a 16-8 lead.
Taya Bynum there was able to get her hand on it and find the opening.
Pilots baseball team in action today. We'll get some scores from Andrew. Pilots a winner 12-2 in game number 1 against Trinity International. Good job for Coach Seth Zartman. We'll be bringing you Bethel baseball all spring long. 16-9 as the Pilots end the drought here, and they'll finally get a chance to serve. Bridget Downs on the back line now. Here is Butler. This one hit cross court and hammered home by Anna Lewis. That makes it 17-9 HU. Butler, what a talented performer she has been for the Foresters volleyball program. Here is Bethel back on the attack here. Some confusion. Williams was there to save the day, and this one was sent into the tape by Lindsay Ingenito, and it now makes it 17-10 as the Pilots will call upon Madison Beaver to serve.
Pilots need to string some points together here.
There's a low line drive played off the shoe tops by Eckrite. This one deflects in a kill on the far side for Anna Lewis. It's now 18-10. Sands of the hourglass, not in the favor of the Pilots at this stage. As coming in to serve will be Josephine Rammel. Rammel wearing jersey number 9. There's a pass over to the far side. McDonald hammers one, but Eckrite once again on the back line picks it off the shoe tops. And here's a big kill on the far side by Brandy Mickey. And Huntington in command, 19-10 here in this fourth game. Once again to serve, Rammel. This time she punches it with the left hand. Bethel on the attack. Arnold sends it back. Eckrite was there. This one blocked nicely by the Pilots at the net. This one off the tape, and it falls harmlessly to the floor. And Huntington with a 10-point lead, 20-10 here in game number 4.
And Katie Weiss out of timeout, so she's got to rely on the girls to dig down deep, as to say, to find a way to stave off elimination.
And for Huntington, who had really struggled up until this weekend, here's the kill opportunity, but Eckrite sends it up the elevator shaft. Over to the far side, and a big kill on the far side by Josephine Rammel. That makes it 21-10 in favor of Huntington.
Well, usually you don't see the server come up big, and the Rammel's come up big the last 2 times while even serving.
McDonald with the little soft toss. Butler, and they're going to say that'll be a point for the Pilots. That makes it 21-11. If you look at this Huntington team, they lost their opener to a really good Brussica team out of Kentucky. Then they ran off 5 straight, and then they lost 4 straight. Were able to pick up a win against Frieden Harbin out of Tennessee. Then they lost to Mount Vernon into start of league play. And now it's 22-11. And now here they have, after the 3-1 loss to Mount Vernon, they've had a win against Goshen, and now they have the Pilots on the ropes here, leading 22-11. Here's the lean-in line drive served by Flickinger. And here's Arnold. Flickinger picks it off. Butler sends it back, and then now the Pilots back on the attack. Here's Hart with the swing and a miss. 23-11 in favor of Huntington. Foresters, keep in mind, Matt, the Foresters won 10 matches last year, and they're about ready to bag number 8 here. A lot of enthusiasm with this Huntington volleyball team right now. Here's Hart, diving play, a pair of Foresters collide. Now Butler sends one up high. Bethel back on the offense. There's a one-hand dunk on the far side by the Pilots, and it's now 23-12. And now to serve will be Dull again. Hannah Marie will line it up here, and she'll punch the line drive into the tape. 24-12, and now it is set and game and match point, all in one.
Back-to-back service errors for Bethel, not the way you want to finish out.
And we got a scoreboard update. Grace beats Goshen. It looks like 3-1, and that'll be a point for the Pilots, 24-13. Our good friend Tanner Camp from Goshen is on the call of that game right now. And it is Grace beats Goshen 3-1. And that's it. The Huntington University of Foresters, with a convincing fourth game, beat the Pilots 25-13. And that's going to do it. Here, it's now a 3-1 Forester win. Huntington improves to 8-6 overall, 2-2 in league play. Bethel falls to 5-12 and 0-4 in Crossroads lead action. The Pilots certainly have got some work to do. The Pilots, the last time they won a volleyball match was on the 6th of September. So successive losses to Indiana Tech, Madonna, Taylor, Grace, and now Huntington. That's 5 straight losses. And in the big picture of it, you can also throw St. Francis and Doane in there. And that is only 1 win in your last 8 opportunities. It's a tough road to hoe for Katie Weiss to try to get this club back on track.
Well, you take a look at it. They're going to be playing Spring Arbor, which was going into today's match against Mount Vernon. They were winless as well. So depending on what the results are, the Pilots going to try to stave off staying out of the cellar.
We'll be back with more and a wrap up here from Bethel right after this on Regional Radio Sports.
Discover better banking at Teachers Credit Union. More than 300,000 already have. They know better banking means better rates on savings, loans, and mortgages, and being treated like more than a number. At TCU, you don't have to be a teacher to enjoy better banking, just someone who enjoys personal attention and solid financial solutions. Go to tcunet.com/betterbanking to learn more. TCU, better rates, better service, better banking. Teachers Credit Union deposits are federally insured by the NCUA, and we're an equal housing opportunity. NMLS number 686706.
Manage your money like a pro with TCU. You can score big with the TCU Debit MasterCard that gives you cash back on everyday purchases. Plus, you'll win with access to hundreds of free ATMs across Indiana. Check out TCU's starting lineup of services to help you manage your cash and build your savings. Visit TCUnet.com to kick off your better banking experience. See TCU Debit MasterCard terms and conditions for details. Alliance One and Co-op ATMs within Indiana are free. New members are subject to a $7 membership fee and $5 initial share deposit.
When your child's in the hospital, the last thing you want to do is to leave their bedside.
If we had to leave the hospital at any time, it would have drove us nuts.
The family room was definitely a blessing for us. We needed to be close to our daughter, and it gave us exactly what we needed at that time.
Make a difference in the life of a family when they need it most. Give to the Ronald McDonald House at Memorial Children's Hospital in South Bend. Donate to our new house at loveshinethrough.org.
Welcome back here to Bethel University. The Pilots, a 3-1 loser to Huntington University. And Katie Weiss joining us here on the post-game show. Katie, just kind of looking back, and this is exactly what you and I were talking about during our pregame sit-down.
Yeah.
This emotional roller coaster this group has been on, and we saw this group come out right out of the gates, just as they did last night against Grace. However, they bounced back with a really energetic second set, and that's that roller coaster that you're on. And I know you're still trying to get the right combination and everybody to get on the pace, stay excited.
Mm-hmm.
So just give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like just seeing the difference between a set one and a set two is just it's drastic, and we've got to figure out what we're doing and, what we're doing wrong and fix that. And, again, like we're at 11 service errors. It's just these little things that we are constantly doing, and we're shooting ourselves in the foot. So I don't feel like Huntington did anything fancy to us. We just continued to beat ourselves, and that's really frustrating.
Okay, so moving forward, and we've talked about the things you can change on the mental side, with things you can do on the emotional side, and now you're just basically talking about some of the technical aspect. When does the ownership come to the student athlete and says, I have to be better as a person, and then collectively the next person has to say, I have to be better? When does it all come together for those kids?
Yeah, I mean, I would have hoped it came together, August 16th on our first game. I mean, that's just, we can't wait for that. And so it needs to happen now, and these girls need to take responsibility for it and just own up to it. Like, this is on me. I'm going to do better. And then show up match after match, not just one great match, but 3 great matches. And we've got to do that. So.
All right, so a sneak preview. You've got Spring Arbor coming up this week. It's an important opportunity to bounce back. And once again, let's hope the gals are ready to go.
Yeah.
Thanks for
absolutely.
stopping by.
Yep.
Okay, once again, Katie Weiss joining us. Not a difficult time, but we appreciate her taking time to be here because, I'll tell you what, when your team loses the way they have the last couple of games, where clearly they could have won both games from a talent standpoint, but there's just not have got the job done. So let's go over to Matt Copsey, and he's going to wrap up our broadcast with the final statistics.
Thanks, Paul. I could sense the frustration in Coach.
Yes.
I could sense the frustration, and it's it basically comes down to right now, I think it's a little bit mental right now for these girls. We saw early in the year when things were going well, and they have to learn how to deal with adversity a little bit better. But we'll take a look at, for Huntington first, Paige Eckwright with 12 kills, Anna Lewis with 7, Taya Bynum also had 7, Jennings Takasik had 5, and Brandy Mickey had 5, as did, that was it. Jennings Takasik with 29 assists, Paige Eckwright with 10 digs, 19 for Ariana Butler. For the Pilots, 6 kills for A.J. McDonald, 7 for Peyton Hart. Madison Beaver and Kelsey Grosdorff each had 5, 4 for Sue Vandegrift, and 3 for Abby Armold. 23 assists for Madison Beaver. Service aces, Beaver, Rachel Vendel, and Bridget Downs had 2 apiece. Diggs, Peyton Hart had 12. Bridget Downs had 13. The one thing, Paul, that kind of stands out in Bethel with 11 service errors to 8 for Huntington, and that's things you can't happen if you want to be successful.
Yeah, no question. And Katie mentioned that last night they had 9 service errors, 11 today. You can't give away the free stuff.
Well, and
unless, of course, you're the United States government.
Well, and they had 2 on their back-to-back final serves in the 4th game, and you can't. Those are critical times when you're trying to get back in a match. You've got to keep that service going. We saw that in set number 2 when Mackenzie Williams was serving. She was able to keep the flow going. And when your service, you're the team that's in control. You're not on the defensive, though.
All right, well, I'll wrap it up here from Bethel University. Once again, in game number 1, Huntington got out to a great start after a 1-1 tie and ran the table and won 25-19. The game 2 was all Pilots after the Pilots and Foresters were deadlocked at 7-7. Bethel got on a roll and rolled to a 25-13 win, so we were tied at 1-1. Huntington came back in that important 3rd game, and we had 12 ties in that, including the Pilots holding off elimination 3 times, only to fall 26-24. And in the decisive game 4, it was Huntington after taking the lead at 6-5. They never looked back and roared to a 25-13 win. They win the match 3-1. That's going to do it. A special thanks to Andrew Bowen as well as Tanya Condry for all the details. For the Hall of Famer, Matt Copsey, my name's Paul Condry. We'll see you on Wednesday as the Pilots will be in action against Spring Arbor University. For all of us here at Bethel University and the Regional Radio Sports Network, I'm Paul Condry. God bless you all. Semper Fidelis, and good afternoon from Bethel on the Regional Radio Sports Network.